Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Move and Bloom, a safe space where together we can grow possibilities. I am super excited to be here this morning with Heidi Rood. Heidi got her dance degree here at IU Bloomington. And I just love it that we went to our neuromovement practitioner training, met up, and oh, hey, I went to school in Bloomington. So this is super exciting, and you'll want to hear about Heidi's dance career, her time with neuromovement, and stick around because Heidi has found neuromovement really useful in her surgery recovery. So even if you don't dance, even if you're not an IU fan, stick around to hear about that. So without further ado, welcome, Heidi. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, it's my pleasure. So why don't we just launch with your story? Tell us about your life, dance.
Where to begin? You mean a bit of a background for?
Yeah.
So like Anna Marie said, I went to IU Bloomington. I got a degree in a BS in music with outside field in English literature. So for those of you who know the dance program, that means I got a dance degree. It's just called that if you get the outside field. And Bloomington's great for that because if you do go to university, if you're a dancer, it's really crucial that you do something else outside of dance to help you when you retire, or if you have trouble finding work. A lot of dance programs at universities don't offer that. So that was really great. And I found that very useful when I retired from dance. So after I left IU, I got a job at State Ballet, Missouri for a year, which is now Kansas City Ballet, and then went on to Cincinnati Ballet for 3 years. And then in 2000, I moved up to Montreal, and I got a job at Le Grand Ballet Canadien, and I was there for the most of my career. So even though my background is more classical, I did a lot of contemporary work there, which was really exciting. And in 2007, at the end of 2007, I got pregnant. And after the birth of my son, I decided I wanted to stay with him. So that was kind of it for dance. And I was a stay-at-home mom. And then to help pay the bills, I got into copywriting, and I used my English degree to help with that. And I was freelancing, and I also taught dance part-time too. And it wasn't really my chosen field. It was kind of something I did so I could stay at home, so I could work from home and pay the bills. And so a number of things led me to neuromovement. Part of it was I was not thrilled with my career and I needed a change. But when my son was about 8 years old, we started noticing he had some learning challenges. And soon after, he was diagnosed with dyslexia and some mild ADHD symptoms. So I did some less invasive therapies, and some of them were great, some of them not so great. And when he kind of finished with those, we just got a regular tutor. And I have to say, conventional tutoring, it just doesn't work for kids like this. It's really forceful, and it's very expensive. And they sold it as like, oh, we're going to make learning fun and a game, and it wasn't really like that. They were very pushy. They weren't gentle with the child. And I was paying a lot, and I was like, this is not for me, and not for my son, rather. I just didn't agree with it. So I then discovered ABM just from a parenting email list, and I was like, this sounds great. And then unfortunately, there's no practitioners in Montreal. There was one from Ottawa who would come to visit Montreal. So I set up lessons with her, but when I was learning about it, I was like, this sounds like it'll be great for me. As my background in dance, it was like a perfect fit. I was not happy in my career. And this is a way to use my dance background while helping people. So I was, I was going back and forth for a while because it's a huge commitment, the travel and the expense. And it wasn't a decision I came to easily, but eventually I did. And I'm so glad I did because I enjoy it much more than copywriting. And it's been really a blessing in many ways in my life. So.
Yeah. So in making that decision, um, what you saw happening with your son while he got lessons, did that play into that? Like, were you seeing things happen with him that made you go, oh?
For sure. Like I mean, the great thing about it is that it heals the whole system, right? Whereas conventional therapies, they're just trying to drill the knowledge or into the brain and not really help the child get to a place where they can absorb the information easier. So, and also address, the underlying issues, symptoms. So I just noticed with him, he was just a lot calmer. He was less fidgety. He was, and he had an easier time in school. His grades started going up. I mean, it's not this quick fix. It's not like you're gonna see this miraculous change overnight. They start subtle, but at first it was just like, yeah, he can sit and fidget less, and that's huge. That's like a big thing because it means your nervous system is calmer. And and then the grades started going up, and so it's been great.
That's wonderful. And I know that what we want most is for our kids to feel good in their bodies and in their lives. But you say that the fidgeting seems small, but it's actually huge, not just because of what's going on internally, but I know that how people perceive us really affects how we get, our environment, how comfortable we feel in the world. And to be perceived as not the fidgety kid is huge. Not that that's the reason I would do it, but you feel better inside and it helps other people relate to you in a new way.
Exactly.
Yeah. And it helps you relate to yourself in a new way, right? We were just talking about this before we got on the call, how, some people have these really huge transformational experiences, but for you, it was different and it can be different for everyone. What was it like for you using ABM?
Well, for me, most of the benefits were physical. Of course, there were some cognitive benefits, like if you do it consistently, the lessons, especially the class lessons consistently, you are calmer and more even keeled. But the more dramatic benefits I noticed were definitely physical. As a dancer, we all have injuries. I had old injuries, and actually they got worse after having a kid because at least when I was dancing, I had the time for physical therapy and exercises that kind of kept my body less injured. But once you're a mom, you have a lot less time for that. And also you're not exercising as much. So they tend to, your body just goes back to that bad place that,
Yeah.
injury. Like there's this old shoulder injury that that just didn't go away. It came back after the birth of my son, and I couldn't get it to go back. No matter what I did, it would start to get better, then went back. And now it's like, doesn't bother me at all anymore. And most dramatically, I was diagnosed with breast cancer in November of last year.
I'm sorry.
So I had to have a full mastectomy in beginning of January. And if for anyone who's been through that or knows people who's been through that, it really constricts all your mobility dramatically. And, the surgeon was like, oh, do your exercises, crawl up the wall like this, which was really painful and not very effective. And I was like, well, forget that. I'm just going to do my TML on my good side. And it's just like went up. And
wow. So wait. Let me get this straight. So you did the floor exercises, and they're not really exercises. They're more like movement explorations for people who don't know what neuromovement looks like. So you did the movement explorations on your unaffected side, the side where you didn't have surgery, and your brain transferred the learning to the unaffected side.
Yeah, and honestly, it wasn't even on the floor because I couldn't, in the beginning, I couldn't even lie down on the floor. So I would just do it sitting. I would do like just snippets of transformational movement lessons, and it got so much better. And one thing I forgot to mention, also after the surgery, you can't lie back on your back. You can't. And you need help getting, I mean, you're really a mess. It's a really dramatic surgery. I had no idea. It's not something you really think about until it happens to you, but you can't get in and out of bed. So I did the rolling TML, where you come up and rolling back down, and it helps so much. You can't imagine. So I really used my learning to help my recovery. And it's, it's not just from a mastectomy or some other kind of surgery. If you're getting older and you're having trouble getting in and out of bed, it can be amazing. It's amazing work, really.
It is amazing work. And I'm still, my mind is still blown because we had talked, but I didn't realize you just did the lessons on your good side and your surgery side got better. So can you show us? Oh my God.
Like after, it was God, I think it was here after my surgery.
Yeah. And you did no wall crawling.
I had 2 surgeries too. So one was another story, but it did actually after the second go down a bit, but now it's fine. So.
Wow. So you had 2 surgeries. You did none of this wall crawling stuff. And you, and did you do PT?
Oh, no.
No. So this is just you using what you learned in training, and you're like, boom. That's amazing. I'm so happy for you, Heidi. And I'm so happy for your students because you've got this experience as both a teacher and a real user of the work, right? You're not just doing this to feel a little better, it works and how dramatic a change it can make for you.
Yeah, and just be it lets make it was traumatic, the surgery. I'm not gonna lie about that, but that eased the trauma a little bit, because that would have been more trauma, ow, pain, and it's just made it, well, I don't need to really do that. I don't need to do that to recover. So
that's really empowering.
Yeah.
That's huge. Yeah. So tell us about how you go about teaching. Are you teaching online, in person?
Well, I am seeing, Anna Maria, we're in the same training class, so I'm able to see adults, work with adults. So I do have one client so now, because my career got put on hold a little bit with the cancer, of course. So I have one client, and then classes I was teaching, and I will start again next month in May. And I am on, you can find me, especially if you're in the States, because I still live in Montreal. So money transactions can be challenging. So I am on the Decathlon community website, and you can pay there. And those will start in May, and on Monday nights at 7 p.m.
Oh, nice. So you're on Decathlon, and I know you're on Evolve Movement Canada too, right?
Yeah, but I mean, that's just more as a practitioner. I can post my classes there, but it's not a transaction. If someone wants to find me on there, they can, but they would just email me and say, where's my classes? And I would just direct them to Decathlon. Or
okay.
It's not like a
okay
where you pay on Evolve. It's more just to get visibility as a practitioner.
Got it. So you're on a directory listing with Evolve, and you do all your transactions through Decathlon.
Yeah, for my class.
For your class. Yeah. So you can drop that link for folks who are interested in working with you in the comments when we post this. Yeah. Yeah. And so one more thing. So if someone wanted to work with you one-on-one, how would they get a hold of you?
They can go through Evolve, and my email is on there. You can find me at evolvemovement.ca, but I can also leave my email as well.
Yeah. That would be fantastic. And so I know that you're empowered now to find the things that really work for you as you recover from your cancer. And I know that you're going on your own path for your cancer recovery. Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so I did. I mean, I'm doing a mix. Obviously, I had the mastectomy, and that's definitely conventional treatment. But I am stage 3, so they want to do 6 months of chemo and a month and a half of radiation, and then endocrine therapy after that. And after doing a lot of research, I realized this is not the path I want, because actually chemo is, it only adds a very small percentage to your survival rate, and it comes with a lot of risks and complications that I'm just not prepared to take. So a lot of people are even just healing on their own, which is probably, if I were a stage 1, maybe 2A or something, I would take that path. But since I'm more advanced, I decided to go to a clinic. And there's a number in the States, if people are interested in that, integrative clinics that specialize in cancer. Since I'm from Canada, it's harder, and it's COVID now. I can't really go to the States, or I haven't been able to find a clinic that will take me. So there's a clinic in Mexico called Hope for Cancer, and that's where I'm going. It's quite pricey, unfortunately. So I'm currently raising money through GoFundMe, and I'm almost halfway there, which is really exciting. Yeah.
Oh, that's so cool. So like,
I can't believe how much I'm so touched, because I was really shy to ask for money. This is not like me to do that, but I can't put chemicals into, like, carcinogenic chemicals into my veins for 6 months. I can't. And it doesn't make sense to me at all.
Well, you're speaking to a Bloomington crowd who will totally get that. And a few other people elsewhere, but here in Bloomington, a lot of us totally get what you're saying. And I know a lot of us would be happy to help you with your GoFundMe, especially now that you're getting so close to the finish line. You know, it would be awesome if, you know, we could just drop a few bucks in, maybe a cup of coffee's worth, and boom, you're there. You're there.
So eternally grateful if you did that, or wanted to share, or if you can't contribute, if you decided to share it, that would be amazing as well, and really, really appreciated.
Yeah, so definitely leave that link in the comments too, please.
Thank you so much. I will.
Yeah, no, I'm excited for you. You just keep giving me this great news. You've made my day. Okay, so do you have other great news to share before we
I can't think of anything offhand. That's it.
That's it. Well, I'm so grateful that your son has benefited from the work. You've benefited from the work. You're so close with your GoFundMe. What wisdom do you have to share with people who are curious and might want to try NeuroMovement for any of the things you've talked about, or even something different?
I think if you're a dancer, and especially if you're prone to injury, like, get involved in movement now. I mean, even if you're not, I mean, it'll open up doors. I don't know what I use like now, but when I was there, it was very, very classical, and we did a little bit of contemporary, but it was mostly classical. But you don't know that you're going to stick with classical. And if you ever decide you want to go, at least like I did both. I mean, Legrand, we definitely did classical as well, but we did a lot of contemporary and a lot of improvisation. And this movement, this NeuroMovement, can really help you with that. And it's just explores new avenues that maybe you weren't thinking about before. And of course, injury prevention is huge. And like, do it now before you're injured. If you are injured, then you can also really, really benefit from it, of course. But it's always best to be preventative than wait till it actually happens to you. And yeah, and like a lot of the people that are taking my classes and seeing me one-on-one, they're just having a lot of pain. So if you're older and you're experiencing pain, trust me, this will help so, so much. And if you're getting even older, like in, 60s and 70s, like, and you want to stay mobile. It's
Mhm.
amazing because
And
it'll keep you sharp. Not only will it keep you sharp, it'll keep you mobile, and it'll help your that alone will help your emotional and mental well-being, just to stay mobile into your later years, you know?
yeah, it gets back to that whole, what environment are you growing up in? Like staying mobile really changes what your environment looks like,
Yeah.
right? You're
Yeah.
living in a whole different world when you can get around on your own.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. So one question I have for you, and I'm totally springing on this on you. So if you don't have an answer, that's fine. But I was talking to a musician
Mhm.
on an interview, and she said that it was really interesting for her, um, because she's an oboist, um, that she didn't want to experiment with the breath, because some of the movement explorations we do involve the breath, because she was so heavily trained in how to breathe for her instrument.
Mhm.
And so that was tough. And I don't know, like, I just tell people, like, maybe if you want to do these explorations outside of outside of your big performance season, it might be better so you feel freer to explore. But as someone who's looking to like perform on a schedule, how would you recommend going about these lessons in a way that kind of would make sense for them?
Well, if I were to talk to that oboist friend of yours, you know, it's in her. Like, you don't lose it. You know, I've been away from dance now for 12, like professionally, from 12 or 13 years. Of course, I've taken classes here and there, and I've taught, but
Yeah.
you don't lose it. Like, you know, and exploring other avenues, you're still going to have that base there. It's not going to, it's unlikely to change that. I mean, I think our training, especially in classical, so she's obviously a classical musician, correct?
Hmm. Yes.
So it's the same with classical dance. It's very rigid. You're taught, I have to wear my
Hmm.
point shoes every day, or I'm going to lose it. I have to take class and point every day. I had that mentality, but then actually you don't really lose it. I mean, you can, it's there. So exploring other avenues is just going to make you stronger, and
Hmm.
it's going to just make you more flexible and able to do more things. If you're like in the middle of performing or
Hmm.
audition schedule, of course, you know, maybe you want to play it safe, and I would get that, and maybe do it when you're not, you know, start experimenting when you're not in performance season, or you're not auditioning, or um, just if that makes you feel better. But no, I disagree with that mentality, because I mean, I understand it because I
Hmm.
was like that.
Yeah.
But it's her learning how to breathe differently is just going to make what she's doing now stronger. And
Yeah. And to be totally fair to her, she got over that. It's just that was her initial reaction, right? As a young student.
I get it. I get that mentality. But like, and especially with neuromovement and dance, what people might find if they start doing it, maybe there will be an adjustment period, because you might
Mm.
be a little bit more flexible, and you're like, oh, where's my center? But it's going to come back, because it's, first of all, it's there. Like I said, it's there. And it's just going to make you more like more flexible, more able to do different things, you know? I can't remember, it was, you know, the one TML, I think we're on our side and we're lifting our knee, and and Anat Baniel always says, like, try to use it in your life to let it make it to integrate it into our bodies and our systems, in our, actually our systems rather, not our bodies. And I would just like start experimenting and just putting on, like lifting my leg and putting socks on with one, you know, leg. And I'm like, my balance is like so strong now. And I mean, I had good balance as a dancer, but like, it's just so natural now. It's crazy, you know,
It's
it's,
like boom.
but there, of course, there might be a little bit of a transition. So if you're nervous about that, then don't do it when you're in the middle of shows, of course, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. That's awesome. I love it that this has made your balance stronger. You would think as a dancer, you're like, boom, there's nothing more you could do, but Yeah. Wow. Thank you so much, Heidi. This has been really inspirational in so many ways. And I'm excited to see your GoFundMe link and your lesson links and everything else. And I hope we see you back here on Facebook Live, maybe in another time.
Yes, I would love it. I'd love to come back.
Mwah!
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.